June 1st, 2009, Air France Flight 447, a state-of-the-art Airbus A330-200, began its journey from Rio de Janeiro to Paris. But in the vast, unforgiving skies over the Atlantic Ocean, this routine flight would descend into one of aviation's most tragic and complex disasters. 228 lives were lost. But how did a modern aircraft, equipped with advanced technology, fall to such an unexpected fate? Air France Flight 447 was an Airbus A330-200, a widely respected aircraft model known for its reliability. The A330 is a twin-engine, wide-body airliner equipped with a fly-by-wire control system, which uses electronic signals instead of mechanical links for flight control. This technology is designed to improve precision and reduce pilot workload. The aircraft, registered as F-GZCP, had accumulated over 18,800 flight hours by the time of the disaster. It was powered by two General Electric CF6 engines, known for their fuel efficiency and durability. Despite being a modern machine with cutting-edge avionics, it still faced challenges in the night skies above the Atlantic. As the Airbus cruised through the night sky, it approached the Intertropical Convergence Zone, a region notorious for turbulent weather patterns. This area is where the trade winds from the northern and southern hemispheres meet, often creating thunderstorms, heavy rain, and unpredictable turbulence. Flight 447 encountered severe turbulence, with thunderstorms producing updrafts, downdrafts, and intense wind shear. The aircraft was not flying in a simple calm sky, but a dynamic, dangerous environment that would soon expose fatal flaws in both the aircraft systems and human response. At the heart of the issue was a seemingly minor malfunction, a blocked pitot tube. Pitot tubes are small devices mounted on the aircraft's fuselage that measure airspeed. They work by detecting changes in air pressure as the aircraft moves through the air. In the conditions of Flight 447, ice began to accumulate in the pitot tubes, causing them to malfunction. This led to faulty airspeed readings being sent to the aircraft's flight systems. Without accurate airspeed data, the autopilot and the auto-thrust systems disconnected. The disengagement of the autopilot was the first key moment. The aircraft's crew was left to fly the plane manually, without key instruments that typically guide their flight path. A crucial chain of events had begun. The crew of Flight 447 was faced with a rapidly deteriorating situation. At the time of the malfunction, the first officer was in control of the aircraft while the captain was on a break. Upon the autopilot disengaging, the cockpit became chaotic. The flight crew had received inconsistent airspeed data, with the first officer believing that the aircraft was in a controlled flight despite the stall warning. When the autopilot disengaged, the first officer failed to recognize the stall warning. Instead, they began pulling back on the yoke to climb, inadvertently increasing the angle of attack and deepening the stall. At 2:10 UTC, the captain returned to the cockpit. By then, the aircraft had lost a significant altitude. Instead of recovering from the stall, the crew continued to misinterpret the stall situation and failed to take the corrective actions. The stall wasn't immediately catastrophic, but as the aircraft's angle of attack increased, the wings could no longer generate lift. The Airbus was falling into a situation known as an aerodynamic stall, where the aircraft is unable to stay airborne due to insufficient airflow over its wings. The critical moment came when the aircraft's airspeed dropped to unsafe levels, below what is required for the wings to generate sufficient lift. The angle of attack reached a level where the wings could no longer maintain control, and the aircraft was doomed to fall. Despite stall warnings and the autopilot's disengagement, the crew's actions caused the aircraft to lose precious altitude. 4 minutes of critical time passed before it finally struck the ocean. The final moments of Air France Flight 447 were filled with confusion and urgency. In these final minutes, the aircraft was plummeting towards the ocean below, and the crew had no time left to recover. At 2:14 UTC, the Airbus A330, which had once glided smoothly above the Atlantic, impacted the ocean with immense force. The search for wreckage lasted for days, but the true scope of the disaster only began to unfold when the flight data and cockpit voice recorders were recovered from the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. The investigation would reveal the depth of the tragedy. The French BEA launched an exhaustive investigation. They examined all available data, flight data recorders, cockpit voice recordings, and even wreckage recovered from the ocean floor. What they discovered was an intricate web of technical failures, miscommunications, and human error. First, the malfunction of the pitot tubes led to the autopilot disengaging. Then, the crew, facing sudden manual control, failed to recognize the stall situation and instead of pushing the nose down to recover, continued to pulling back. Their training failed them in such a high pressure environment with no clear understanding of the aircraft's true condition. The crash of Air France Flight 447 prompted worldwide changes in aviation protocols. Pilot training now includes a much greater emphasis on upset recovery, stall recovery techniques, and better handling of unreliable airspeed data. In addition to human factors training, Airbus redesigned the pitot tubes to prevent ice formation in such conditions. The lessons learned from this disaster have had a profound impact on air safety. The story of Air France Flight 447 is not just a tragic reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in aviation, but a catalyst for change. It reminds us that no technology, no matter how advanced, is immune to failure, and that human error can still play a deadly role, even in the most controlled environments. While we cannot bring back those 228 passengers and crew members, their loss forever altered aviation safety and saved countless others.